Jeanne III d'Albret was born on November 16, 1528 in the château of Saint-Germain-en-Laye. She was the only daughter of Henri II of Albret, King of Navarre, and Marguerite of Angoulême. Her maternal uncle, King François I of France, allowed her to move into the sober château of Plessis-les-Tours in 1538 in order to keep her away from her father, who intended to marry her off to the son of the Holy Roman Emperor Charles V, the later Philip II of Spain, which would have placed all the possessions of the d'Albret family under Spanish rule. He thus assigned the young Jeanne to her own château, which was only a short distance from the château of Blois, which was the favorite residence of the kings of France during the Renaissance. Jeanne thus grew up at the French court and witnessed most of the main political events of her time. In 1541, plans were drawn up for Jeanne to marry William, Duke of Jülich-Cleves-Berg. William was the brother of Anne of Cleves, who we all know as the fourth wife of Henry VIII of England. However, Jeanne did not want to marry the Duke, and although she was only 12 years old at the day of her wedding ceremony, she had to be physically pushed to the altar. Despite Jeanne's attempts to prevent the wedding, the two of them were married on June 9, 1541. Jeanne, however, still unhappy with the marriage, accumulated evidence that the marriage had been forced upon her and constantly postponed its consummation. When her husband signed the Treaty of Venlo in 1543, which resulted in handing over the territory of Gelderland to the Habsburgs, William's alliance with François I came to an end. Jeanne immediately seized the political opportunity and presented her arguments concerning her marriage to François, who allowed her to obtain an annulment of her marriage. The annulment was granted by Pope Paul III on October 12, 1545. François I of France died in 1547 and was succeeded by his son Henri II of France. Soon after the accession of Henri II, he arranged the marriage between Jeanne and Antoine de Bourbon-Vendôme, as it would give Henri stronger control over the southern regions of France and the Kingdom of Navarre. Despite the strong objections of Jeanne's mother, Marguerite d'Angoulême, the wedding took place in Moulins on October 20, 1548. On May 25, 1555, Jeanne's father, Henri II of Navarre, died. Jeanne now succeeded her father to the throne of Navarre, which she and her husband governed together. Jeanne's mother, Marguerite of Angoulême, had been quite interested in reformist ideas. Faithful to the spirit of her mother, Jeanne favored the establishment of the Protestant reform, but was still reluctant to break with the Catholic Church herself. Furthermore, like her mother, Jeanne also attempted to recover the southern Navarre territories, which had been annexed by Ferdinand II of Aragon in 1512. Despite sending her uncle, Pierre d'Albret, on a mission to obtain this political goal, like her mother, Jeanne's attempts led to nothing. In 1560, Navarre became strongly influenced by Protestantism. Until that time, Jeanne had been extremely cautious about showing her sympathy for the new religion out of fear of the Inquisition. But eventually, in August 1560, Jeanne converted to Calvinism. Her final break with Catholicism was made official at Christmas that same year. At the same time, her husband Antoine, who lived at the French court in Paris and who was heavily influenced by the French king, increasingly showed his preference for Catholicism. The couple had been separated ever since Jeanne learned that her unfaithful husband had had a son with another woman. Jeanne's conversion caused a deeper rift between the couple and also caused a disagreement between her and her uncle, Pierre d'Albret, who had become Bishop of Comminges and who was trying to keep Navarre a Catholic state. On July 19, 1561, Jeanne authorized Calvinism in Navarre. Jeanne started implementing several measures in order to cement Calvinism in her state. These measures included, among others, organizing a translation of the Bible in Basque and several other measures such as having new ecclesiastical ordinances drafted. There was fierce Catholic opposition against Jeanne's measures, to which she responded by having Catholicism banned from Navarre and having the clergy expelled. The conversion of Navarre to Protestantism was not to the liking of King Charles IX of France, who sent an army there. A bloody war ensued, during which Jeanne and her 15-year-old son, Henri of Navarre, had to temporarily flee to La Rochelle. Her husband, Antoine de Bourbon-Vendôme, once again sided with the Catholics, and he died in 1562 during a siege of Rouen. To ensure the future of her country and her dynasty, Jeanne was forced in November 1571 to begin negotiations on a possible marriage of her son Henri of Navarre to Marguerite of Valois. Marguerite was the sister of Charles IX and a daughter of Henri II and Catherine de' Medici. In order for the marriage contract to be signed, Jeanne had to accept one condition: Marguerite would not convert to the Protestant religion. The marriage was to take place on August 18, 1572, and Jeanne arrived in Paris on May 16th to make the necessary preparations. However, she would never see the wedding take place. Jeanne III d'Albret caught a cold and consequently died of tuberculosis on June 9, 1572. Her sudden death, which severely weakened the Huguenot party shortly before the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre, led to rumors that she had been poisoned. One of the theories stated that Jeanne was provided with poisonous gloves sold to her by René Bianchi, who was Catherine de' Medici's Florentine perfumer. However, historically, there is no proof of the Queen of Navarre being murdered, and, until today, the fact that she died of tuberculosis remains the official cause of her death. Contrary to her wishes, Jeanne III d'Albret was buried in the collegiate church of Saint-Georges in Vendôme, where her husband was buried, instead of in the crypt of the Cathedral of Navarre, where the other princes of Navarre are laid to rest. Thank you for watching.